open up the arteries that are blocked in the heart. But when I was a kid, I was very naughty. I was extremely naughty child. My mother was fed up of me. My father too. So, but still, there were times when she used to go to markets. Once a week, once or 10 days. She used to go to a local market nearby, and the purpose she went was to buy some fresh vegetables, some fresh fruits, and to bribe me into behaving nicely and not being naughty. What I used to get was I used to get a small packet of snacks. And that used to be my motivation to go along with her to that small dusty market near my house. Whenever I used to come back from that market, I used to carry a packet with me. It could be a chips, a chocolate, a biscuit, or anything, whatever came into my mind at that time. She dissuaded me completely every time. She used to say that, "Why are you eating this?" She used to say, "Isse keede ho jayenge pet mein." It means that you will get bugs in the stomach if you keep on eating these stuff. As I told, I was naughty. I never believed her. I used to eat that. But still, once in 10 days. Cut to 2025. Now, I assume most of yours, as mine as well, our kitchens are stocked with packet stuffs. Biscuits, namkeens, chips, cold drinks, 2-minute instant noodles, everything that there are available. Well, this is my personal story. But the real numbers do not change. In last 20 years, the global consumption of packaged foods all around the world has risen by 350%. If we talk about India, in 2009, the usage of packaged products was only $900 million all over India. And 13 years down the line, it is $37.8 billion. That's a billion with a B. And that is 4,100% increase in any industry. That is a leading number. In 13 years, we have 4,100% increase in consumption of packaged foods. And that packaged foods include everything. They start from cold drink to chocolates to biscuits to cookies to cakes. But they started studying it earlier. The first initial assessment of food safety started when researchers from Sao Paulo, Brazil, divided all the food that we eat into 4 groups. They came with a classification called as NOVA food classification. Now, what is NOVA food classification? It is Portuguese for new, so NOVA is new. It's a new classification system. How do they classify the food then? They classify the food into 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, the food that is naturally occurring, fruits, vegetables. Category 2, you have some category 1 food, you pulse it, you grind it and sell it off like powder or something. Group 3, you add the 1 and 2 and you present it as the group 3. Till group 3, it's okay. It's not okay, but it's still manageable. Then comes group 4. Now, group 4 is something that we need to learn about today. Group 4 are called as ultra processed foods or UPFs. Now, what is a UPF? UPF is something in which a food packet in which some chemical is added to enhance either the palatability, a flavor, color, or to make it visually appealing, to make it long lasting, or anything like that. Those products are called as UPFs. They are in group 4 category. But how do they affect us? Do they really harm us or not? Oh, we have been eating it for like decades now. So, there is an ongoing study in France. It started in 2006. They employed over 170,000 people. 170,000, that is 1,70,000 people. And they are trying to analyze the effect of nutrition on our health and the collaborative efforts of nutrition, lifestyle choices and environment on our lifespan and on diseases that we have. It's called as a NutriNat Sante study. So, NutriNat Sante study recently came up with a conclusion. Out of that 170,000 people, they studied roughly around 100,000 people, roughly around a lakh. And they found out that even by increment of 10% of consumption of these UPFs, I'm calling it UPF, but they are all UPFs. They found out that if we increase the amount of consumption of UPF by only 10%, the risk of heart attacks, the risk of strokes, the risk of inflammatory bowel diseases, Alzheimer's, other inflammatory diseases that we are genuinely seeing an increment of in the general population, it increases multifold. So, it was a stark reminder that UPFs are bad, but we still definitely need more evidence, don't we? So what did we do? As a cardiologist, there is one study, one research area that I have always admired, and that is Framingham Heart Study. We never knew before 1948 or 1950s that smoking is bad for heart. High blood pressure is bad for heart. Did we? We did not. We have seen people smoking openly. We did not know that LDL or bad cholesterol is bad for heart. We did not know HDL is good for heart. So Framingham Heart Study, what it did was it studied all these parameters, and it started in 1948. And the beauty of this study is they have studied generations of the same people who were employed in 1948 subsection. So in 1948, when if they employed 1,000 people, their children are also now in the study group. Their children's children are now also in the study group. In 1991, Framingham Heart Study came up with a cohort that is called as an offspring cohort. This offspring cohort, what they did was, they tried to evaluate the dietary patterns of healthy parents, dietary patterns of their children, and they evaluated across the generations. They found out that even by increasing one portion of UPF per day, only one portion of UPF per day, will increase your risk of heart attacks, your strokes, and all the other diseases by 7 to 9%. 7 to 9%, that's a huge number. So, people who bought us, who got us to believe that smoking is bad, blood pressure is bad, they are now professing that UPFs are bad. It's definitely going to be a game changer. Who amongst all of you have eaten this in last 1 week? I guess most of you, right? If not this, then this. If not this, then probably this. A very refreshing drink that you drink in the evening, right? Very good to eat. Oh, this is a lemony one. You get very refreshed in the summers, right? So this is all very nice. But do you know what all these are? These are all UPFs. Now, you say, yeah, Dr. Ankur, you're right. UPFs are bad. How do we avoid it? Well, avoiding comes with first identifying. Can we identify it? Can we identify what is UPF? Most of the times we can't. These things are apparent because of the media, because of all the things that we see on the Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. But can you identify a UPF if I give you a packet? Sometimes you won't be able to. So how do we identify that? That's the next stage. Before we go on to read a nutrition label, we should know how much nutrition do we actually need. So there are 4 nutrients, right? Proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber. Ideally, a protein should be 1 gram per kg of body weight. Let's suppose if you are 70 kgs, you need at least 70 grams of protein per day. If you are active adult, elderly, or a growing adult, you need more. Carbohydrates. You need around 40 to 65% of your daily calorie intake should be from carbohydrate. Fats, 20 to 30%. But are we Hrithik Roshan? Are we celebrity actors that we are carrying our nutritions along with us, who will measure those portions and give it to us for healthy diet? We can't do that. We are normal human beings working in our day-to-day jobs. We can't have a nutritionist telling us you eat 10.2, identifying those things. Are you familiar with this? I guess most of you are. This is a nutrition chart that is usually stuck at the back of any packet that you eat. Even the Diet Coke, a Diet Cola or a diet drink that we say that it's very healthy. You drink, you see all that, right? But do you know how to read that? The first thing that you go about reading is, number one, see the serving information. You get a 100 grams packet of chips. And let's suppose that 100 grams packet, your serving size is, let's 10 gram. Have you ever stopped at eating 10 grams of chips? I don't think so. Who eats 5 chips? You open a packet and it's just over in 5 minutes, the whole packet's gone. Even a small one, big one. You have 3 people, you will finish a 20 rupees or 40 rupees one also. So, the serving size is extremely important because it will tell you how much you are having. Second, go to calories. Calories, are they important? Yes, calories are extremely important. But having said that, they are grossly overutilized marker as a nutritional metric. There are food items that are extremely low calorie. There may be 0 calories in them, but they are extremely harmful for health. The example I just told. Let's talk about Diet Cola. Coke Zero, right? Coke Zero is absolutely healthy. There is nothing wrong with Coke Zero. Now people are saying Coke is bad, but why? Why is a diet soda bad? Diet soda is bad because they add something called as sucralose or aspartame into it. Now, what is sucralose and aspartame? Sucralose is an artificial sweetener which is 600 times sweeter than table sugar. Aspartame is another artificial sweetener which is 200 times sweeter than table sugar. You add just a bit of it and your drink will get sweet. But the same study, NutriNet study, they have come up with a conclusion that sucralose is directly correlated with cardiovascular diseases. It increases the risks of heart attack. Aspartame increases the risk of cerebrovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease. Apart from all that, they alter your gut bacteria. They alter the inflammation pattern. And they make you prone for all kinds of inflammatory diseases, be it cardiovascular, be it cerebrovascular. So, calories matter for people who are watching their weight, but they should not be taken as a nutritional metric. And telling that it's a low calorie food, it will be good, it's absolutely rubbish. Then you go on to fat. Do you know fat? Fat is good, right? Fat is actually good. You know what is bad? The bad thing is trans fat. You should have more of polyunsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats are always better. Saturated fats are not bad as they are projected to be. The worst type of fat is trans fats. And do you know where does trans fat come from? Trans fats come from a very commonly used product in the packaged food industry. That is called as palm oil. It's a palmolene oil. It's kind of a tropical oil. Why is it so commonly used? Obviously, it's very cheap. You add it in chocolates, in ice creams, in every packet. The food items that I showed just before you, they all had significant amount of palm oil. That palm oil increases your LDL, decreases your HDL, and is directly related to increased risk of heart attacks or coronary artery disease. So, you do not need to have a food that has this trans fat column even 1%. You should not have that. Then, the next thing that you see is protein. You need protein, right? Yeah, protein is good, very good. There are, nowadays I see ads, my son was having, oh, this is a high protein chips, dad, I can have it. So, you know what is a high and low in the food metric? In the food metric, high is something when it is more than 20% of a particular food. So, what you do then, you go on and see this daily value, percentage of daily value. It can come as percentage DV, percentage of RDA or recommended dairy allowance. You go on seeing this right column and the things that are less than 5%, that particular food packet is low in that particular nutrient. It cannot claim it to be a protein-rich diet if the protein content is less than 5%. The number, if it is more than 20%, salt, coming up to salt, right? Because I'm a cardiologist, I get a lot of referrals from primary and secondary physicians who send me patients who have resistant hypertensions. Last year I had a patient who is 18 years old. He was preparing for engineering entrance exam, and in last 1.5 years he started developing hypertension. He already was taking 6 medicines for blood pressure. He had gained around 35 kgs in last 2 years. And despite of all the medications, his blood pressure was not being controlled. So he was referred to me. As a routine evaluation, I always take a lifestyle history. On evaluating his history, I found out that this guy, while preparing for his engineering entrance exams, was on a steady diet of, ready to eat French fries, those chips, colas, and 2-minute noodles. And I dissuaded him. I tried to convince him that this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, but he did not. 6 months down the line, he develops a stroke. He comes to me again, and obviously this was we were able to, he turned out to be fine, but that was a warning call. Now the parents also started saying. In next 1 year, he changed his dietary pattern. Now he is on follow-up with me, taking only one medicine for blood pressure, no stroke symptoms left, blood pressure totally controlled, and he has lost around 20 fats. You have seen salts. Now comes to sugar. Sugar is the enemy, right? Sugar, everyone says sugar is bad, sugar increases inflammation. No, sugar is not bad. Sugar is not as bad. What is bad? The bad thing is added sugar, the artificially added sugar. Fruit sugar, naturally occurring sugar, they are not bad. Every carbohydrate that you eat goes in your gut and gets converted into sugar. So that is not bad. What is bad is when you add sugar on top of your food items in these preservatives. So if you have an added sugar of more than 5%, in any of the food categories that you are trying to eat, it is bad for you. Number 2, you don't want to have sugar? Okay, have a diet option. As I told earlier, the diet option will have sucralose or aspartame. If not that, then what they'll add? They'll add something called as fructose corn syrup or inverted sugars. Nowadays, the companies have even got smarter. They don't even put the names. What they do, they put a number. We don't know what is, E950. Do you know? I didn't know. I had to Google it up. E955, E956. These are all artificial sweeteners which are added in our day-to-day juices also. That's the marketing. So, what do we do then? How do we make the choice? We make the choice by initially reading the nutrition label, as I mentioned. But having said the nutrition label also, you can find a nutrition label that is extremely healthy. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Everything is 0. You're having a heck for the taste of it. Then how is it bad? I'll tell you why it is bad. Then you go on to the second level. Be flavor, anything. So what I say, after reading the nutrition label, seeing that what all macronutrients, what all nutrients I'm getting from this particular packet, go on to see the ingredients. You see what all ingredients are there. As a rule of thumb, try to avoid the food items in which the ingredients or one of the ingredients are something that you can't pronounce. Your grandmother can't pronounce, you have not seen it, you have not heard it, stay away from them. That's probably a UPF. Why? Because these ingredients are nothing but addictive to you. Studies have shown repeatedly that your gut microbacteria gets adapted. You eat a lot of French fries, your gut will want more. You drink a lot of Coke, your gut will ask for more Coke. So your gut microbacteria will keep on growing in that particular manner in which you keep on feeding it to them. So after looking at the nutrition label, I request all of you to go to your homes today, open up any packet and open up. I can bet you will have something like emulsifying agent or bulking agent or foaming agent or anti-caking agent. All these agents will be mentioned. So what next then? Oh, they are very brilliant people. They come to the next step. What is the next step? They call it natural. They call it real. They call it fresh. But calling something natural, does it make natural? Whoever has heard of unnatural fruit juice, every fruit juice is natural in my opinion. So what is natural? There is no regulation for any food item to be called as natural all over the world. You add a pinch of natural food oil, you add a pinch of natural pulp and it becomes natural, despite of all the chemicals. So even if they label it as natural, but at the end of the day, a fruit juice. So in my opinion and in my recommendation, The last thing that you have to see after ingredient list is shelf life. Everyone eats food at home, but have you ever asked shelf life of the dal that is cooked at your home, or paratha, or a sandwich that even cooked at your home? You will not ask for shelf life. It'll be spoiled by the next day. But here, we eat the food items that have shelf lives of more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years rather. I have seen food items or food packets that have shelf life for 3 years. How can a food be stabilized in a living environment for 3 years? It is because of these chemicals. And those chemicals make it ultra processed food, which is bad. So, in my recommendation would be, next time, it is very difficult to eradicate them completely. It is impossible, to be very honest, because of the convenience they offer, because of the ease, because of the access they have to our lives now. It won't be pragmatic also to think like that. But what we can do is use moderation, a month or once in 2 months. But it doesn't mean that you'll have once a month 2-minute noodle, then once a week you'll have a Coke, and once a week you'll have some biscuits. All adds up. Everything adds up. Those things that you may be extremely healthy on the outside. You may be running, jogging, swimming, doing every exercise. But if you are having these, ingesting these food items, you are ultimately putting yourself to risk for cardiovascular diseases. My recommendation again would be, cut up a carrot, cucumber, tomato, put some salt and lemon and eat it. That is way better. Thank you.